In the highlands of Ethiopia, where the mist clings to the mountains like a ghostly veil and the winds carry the whispers of ancient secrets, there lies a tale as old as the land itself. It is a tale that has been passed down from generation to generation, told in hushed tones by the fireside, and guarded closely by the elders. This is the story of Emperor Menelik II's missing treasure, a treasure so grand that it has captivated the hearts and minds of treasure hunters and historians alike for over a century. The story begins in the year 1913, during the final days of Emperor Menelik II, one of Ethiopia's greatest rulers. Menelik was not only a warrior king who defended his nation against foreign invasions, but he was also a wise leader who modernized Ethiopia, bringing the first railroads, telegraph lines, and a national currency to his kingdom. However, there was something else that Menelik was known for, a secret treasure, said to be worth more than the combined riches of all the kings of Africa. The treasure was rumored to include a chest full of glittering jewels, ancient gold coins, religious artifacts of immense value, and a crown studded with diamonds. Some even whispered that among the riches was the Ark of the Covenant itself, hidden away from the world for centuries. But as Menelik lay on his deathbed, the location of his legendary treasure remained a mystery. Some believed it was buried deep within the sacred grounds of the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum, while others were convinced it was hidden in the labyrinthine tunnels beneath his palace in Addis Ababa. But none could say for certain. As the emperor's life slipped away, his closest advisors gathered around him, desperate to learn the truth. Among them was Ras Makonnen, Menelik's trusted general, who had fought by his side in the Battle of Adwa, and Empress Tatu, Menelik's formidable wife, who had ruled the empire with him. They begged the emperor to reveal the location of the treasure, but Menelik, with his last breath, only smiled and whispered, "The treasure belongs to Ethiopia." And so, the secret died with him. For years, the mystery of Menelik's missing treasure remained just that, a mystery. But in 1926, a young and ambitious archaeologist named Gabriel Teklehaimanot set out to find the treasure that had eluded so many before him. Gabriel was not just any archaeologist, he was a man driven by a deep love for his country and an insatiable curiosity. He believed that the treasure held the key to understanding Ethiopia's rich history and that finding it would bring immense pride to his people. Gabriel's journey began in Addis Ababa, where he spent months studying ancient texts and interviewing the oldest members of the royal court. He pored over maps, cross-referencing them with Menelik's known travels, and pieced together a puzzle that had stumped the greatest minds of his time. After months of research, Gabriel was convinced that the treasure was hidden in a remote and treacherous part of the Simeon Mountains, a place where only the bravest dared to venture. With a small team of loyal companions, Gabriel set off on his quest. The journey was arduous, with the group battling steep cliffs, freezing temperatures, and the ever-present threat of bandits. But Gabriel's determination never wavered. Each night, as they huddled around their campfire, he would recount the tales of Menelik's glory days, reminding his companions of the treasure's significance. One evening, as the group rested in a small cave, they were startled by the arrival of an old man, who seemed to appear out of nowhere. His clothes were tattered, and his eyes were clouded with age, but there was a wisdom in his gaze that made Gabriel pause. "Who are you, and what brings you to these mountains?" the old man asked in a voice that echoed off the cave walls. Gabriel hesitated, but something about the man made him speak the truth. "We seek the treasure of Emperor Menelik II," he admitted. The old man smiled, a knowing look in his eyes. "Ah, Menelik's treasure. Many have sought it, but none have found it. Tell me, young man, why do you seek it?" Gabriel thought for a moment before replying, "I seek it not for riches, but for the history and pride of my people. The treasure is a part of our heritage, and it belongs to all Ethiopians." The old man nodded, seemingly satisfied with the answer. "You have a noble heart," he said. "But beware, for the treasure is guarded by more than just mountains and cliffs. It is protected by the spirits of those who died defending it. Only those with pure intentions may find it. With that, the old man turned and disappeared into the night, leaving Gabriel and his companions in stunned silence. The next morning, they continued their journey, spurred on by the old man's words. They climbed higher into the mountains, following a path that Gabriel believed would lead them to the treasure. Days turned into weeks, and just as they were beginning to lose hope, they stumbled upon a hidden valley, shrouded in mist and surrounded by towering peaks. In the center of the valley stood an ancient stone structure, half buried in the earth and covered in moss. Gabriel's heart raced as he approached it, his hands trembling with anticipation. This was it, the final resting place of Menelik's treasure. With great effort, they pried open the heavy stone door and entered the dark chamber within. The air was thick with the scent of earth and time, and the only light came from the flickering flames of their torches. As they moved deeper into the chamber, they saw it, a chest, intricately carved with symbols of the Solomonic dynasty, Menelik's lineage. Gabriel knelt before the chest, his hands trembling as he lifted the lid. Inside, he found not the glittering jewels or the ancient coins he had imagined, but something far more valuable, a collection of scrolls, each one carefully preserved. These scrolls, Gabriel realized, contained the wisdom and knowledge of Ethiopia's ancient kings, passed down through the generations and entrusted to Menelik's care. As Gabriel carefully unrolled one of the scrolls, he understood the true nature of the treasure. It was not wealth or power that Menelik had hidden away, but the very soul of Ethiopia, its history, its culture, and its identity. The treasure was the knowledge that would ensure Ethiopia's future, and it was now in Gabriel's hands. With tears in his eyes, Gabriel knew that his journey had not been in vain. He had found the treasure, but more importantly, he had found a way to share Ethiopia's rich heritage with the world. And so, the mystery of Emperor Menelik's missing treasure was finally solved. Gabriel returned to Addis Ababa, where the scrolls were carefully studied and preserved, their contents shared with the Ethiopian people and beyond. The treasure, once lost to the sands of time, had been found not in gold or jewels, but in the knowledge and pride of a nation. The story of Gabriel Teklehaimanot's discovery became a legend in its own right, inspiring future generations to seek out the truths hidden in their own history. And as for the old man in the cave, some say he was the spirit of Menelik himself, guiding Gabriel to the treasure that belonged to all Ethiopians. But that, of course, is another mystery.